Hi everybody, how you doing today? Today is chapter 1 of my awakening. Now, this is a spiritual awakening, but how it led me from back then to now in front of you. So we're going to take a step back to 2012. 2012 was a dire year for everybody, because that was the year that things were supposed to crash and end, whatever was supposed to be. And even I believed in this. So you could have called me a prepper. Yep, I had 2 food buckets for food packets. I had binoculars. I had all the stuff that a prepper could possibly need. Maybe not all of it. And in this time up to here, I was feeling very nervous and uneasy because, one thing they like to do, the dark ones, is put fear into your heart. And I was given an option, I guess, to continue on my path or change and continue on with why I came. So in this time, I had a profound dream that shook me to the core of my beingness. I was brought up into a heavenly realm, and in this heavenly realm, I was walking down a huge hallway. And when I looked to my right, there were huge angels there. I'm not sure who they were, but while I was walking down this hallway, I couldn't quite see at the end of the hallway, but I knew there was somebody walking next to me that was taller than me and very divine, I guess you could say. And as I walked down this hallway, things started to get brighter. But when I got to the end of the hallway, I woke back up in my bed. And when I woke back up in my bed, I felt this like beautiful energy that just went through my whole body. I wasn't even sure what happened, but I felt great. Well, when I woke up, I know I had set the cell phone on the nightstand before I went to bed, but when I woke up, it wasn't there. And this is in a time when I just started to begin my spiritual, your consciousness, your telepathic consciousness to this higher self that everybody talked about. And while I was working on my telepathic skills, I could hear. It's kind of funny because it's not like hearing, it's like knowing that you got this intuition to do something. So I literally tore my whole bedroom apart and could not find my cell phone anywhere. And I asked my angel, because I knew I had angels. Before this awakening, there was a day that I got up early in the morning to go down and open the door because my mom and dad had these beautiful flowers and they smelled so gorgeous. So I always went down to open the door in the breezeway so we can smell it. Well, when I opened that door up, 3 gorgeous robins flew up to me. I mean, like on the handrail, 3 feet away from me, and the other 2 were 5 feet away from me. And they all 3 stared at me. And they were just absolute gorgeous robins. Like, the kind you think, oh man, that's just like the most beautiful robin I've ever seen. And so I just talked to them and told them thank you for coming to see me and how beautiful they were. And while I was talking to them, they were looking at each other like, all right, we got this guy. And after that moment, that's when I woke up in my bed and realized that my phone was gone. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was moved to another timeline. Now that I know what happened back then, and a lot of us were moved to another timeline because humanity was not on a good timeline. So if you're still here, you made it. You're going to make it. Don't worry. I want to talk to you about the awakening. The awakening is a perspective of your grander self. See, when you came here, you only brought, a little part of you. That's it, a little part of your heart down here, because your heart is massive. Wherever this higher self is, it's you. And I didn't know that at the time either. So this awakening was one of the toughest life challenges I ever had. And at the time, I didn't have a job. I was in between jobs. So I went and found me a job, a good job. And during this time, I had a little camera, a little Casio S8 800 high speed. They were good cameras back then. And I used it a lot, take pictures. But that isn't what started my photography. When I used to go down to the river in the evening to watch the sunset, I would be sitting there, and the next thing you know, I would be looking around and I would see birds in the trees sitting there. I would see the squirrel at the end of the wood rail that my mother and father had there, chipmunks, a groundhog, a crow off in the distance, just sitting there watching the sunset with me. It was the most profound awakening I have ever had. And I just looked up and asked him, I said, what is going on? I've always believed in our Creator. From the time I was a baby until now. But what I found out now, I know much more deeper of where your Creator truly resides. He is, okay, Star Wars, they talk about the Force. Your Creator is the Force. He is the one that can twist, shape your reality into whatever you desire. Yeah. I didn't come here to, be rich, because when I go back home, there's no money there. It's just you. And what you're here to do is not by what your mind does, but it's what your heart does. When that heart door swings open, everything's going to change. You're not going to so much care about the materialistic world. And this world is one of the toughest world in the whole universe. It's a school. You have to walk through it. Your angels are there to help you and guide you through it. Yeah, I tripped over a bunch of bad boulders, but so has everybody else. Not one person is perfect. I don't care who they are. Even those dark ones out there right now causing all that trouble. Believe me, their karma is coming. That I can guarantee you. Their karma is coming. And I wouldn't worry so much about them, because their misdeeds will be answered in the stars. If not on the planet, I guarantee they will be answered in the stars. So, just put that to the side, like, don't worry. They're not getting away with anything, okay? They're just playing their act out, because right now the chess game's up. And they are going to lose their queen. They've already lost the king. They're going to lose the queen. Yeah, so that being said, onward with the awakening. My journey has been at least now 15 years. And I have so much to tell you. And we're going to do like chapter 1. And then I'll do a couple videos. And they'll be kind of short. And as time moves on, I'll be getting deeper into some of the things that challenged me during this awakening. Some of this is not for the faint-hearted, that I promise you. But it's there to challenge you. Your world is going through an awakening. That's why so much on the world is chaotic. Storms, all this. And a lot of it is due to, some of it is due to the solar flares that are hitting the planet. So, my awakening. After my 3 robins come, and I used to sit with the animals, and it seemed like wherever I went, there was always robins around me. Didn't think much of it. Just, they were birds, That's all, birds. So, onward I went. And I was going through a challenge of quit smoking, quit drinking, and finally, eating no meat. But that was my choice. I wanted to be healthier for me. And, there's real no proof about whether meat is good or bad for you, but I can tell you, try to find organic. Because that is the good stuff. Most of it is. Anytime you have a bioengineered food introduced into the food supply, you don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. So I choose to eat organic as much as I can. I'm not perfect, but nobody is. So, in this awakening, I started to meditate. And I want to talk a little bit more about the meditation in awakening. When you meditate, your heart door's got to start swinging open, because you're not going to see much in here, your third eye. Yeah, they call it the third eye. I don't know. It's called some other names too. But it is an amazing place to go. Your consciousness is embedded in that body. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So, I wanted to tell you about some of the things that happened to me during my spiritual awakening. And these are physical things. I worked for a great company, and one day I had to stay over because I'm a maintenance director. And I had to stay over and work on some specialized equipment. Well, I seen it was raining out, and I really didn't pay much attention to it, but I was probably the last one in the plant. And we had a courtyard. And sometimes we had to go through the courtyard to get to another facility. And on my way out of this facility into the courtyard, I looked up and I seen this huge, gorgeous rainbow. I mean, right above me. It was something like I've seen out of a movie. And I just was in awe. The sunset was a brilliant, like an orange and yellow, and here was this magnificent rainbow. And then all of a sudden, out of this rainbow came, to my description, it was like a fairy or something. It had magenta, the most magenta pink wings I've ever seen. And it came down. Not enough to see it perfectly, but enough to see it shimmering. And it just hovered there. And then all of a sudden, it went back up. And as soon as it hit the rainbow, it disappeared. It was one of my most profound moments in my career, which I love very much. And it was a sunset that I'll never forget, along with the rainbow. So, now, on my way to finding a new apartment. I was on my way to finding this new apartment, and I kept getting these, like, images. They call it light language. Well, something like that, but it's like images. And so I finally knew where it was. It was an apartment complex I went by one time, and I found it interesting because it was in the woods, kind of. And sure enough, so I drove to this apartment complex. It was a Saturday or a Friday. Maybe it was a Saturday. I don't know what day it was, truthfully. And as I got out of my car, the birds were singing. And I mean, a lot of them were singing. And as I started to walk up toward the office, they got louder and louder. And I was just in awe, like, what the heck is going on? And as soon as I got to the front door and went to reach for the handle, it all went silent. I knew then I was at the right place at the right time. When I walked in, sure enough, there were 2 apartments just opened up. I got in, got my apartment, and it was just amazing moments. Your awakening is going to be specific to you. You won't have the same thing that the next person next to you will have. His experience is going to be different from your experience, just like the next person's experience is going to be different from theirs. These are internal awakenings of your soul, your grander soul awakening. So I got my new apartment. I was so happy. And I put a bird feeder out there. Next thing you know, I just had a ton of birds coming to my bird feeder. Like, I thought, wow, this is amazing. I had blue jays landing on my balcony, robins, blackbirds, even a hawk, which I got rid of because he was trying to eat my little guys. And every day when I woke up, at this time I was going through a pretty good year, and I would be woke up by the birds. I used to just crack my window open, and they would put their beaks on the rain gutter. Da, 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 da. Next there would be 1, 2, 3 of them doing it, until finally I woke up, and then all of a sudden they would just stop. Yeah, it's those moments that just are awe to you. And these awe moments are for you and you alone. Now, I'm telling my story because it needs to be told. People need to know that they are so much more than that body you look back in the mirror every day. You are absolutely gorgeous in heaven. I got to see a version of me in heaven, and I am absolutely gorgeous. I got to see my mom. She was up there, and she's absolutely gorgeous and young. I got to see my dad before he left this world to go to heaven. And I'll be telling you about that, not in this series. That will be a tougher series. I loved my dad very much, and it really put a strain on my heart when he left, because I had nobody to lean on, to ask questions. He had good wisdom, because he'd been brought up in this world back in the 60s and 70s, and I was we all go through this phase. When we lose our parents, it's like now you're on your own. But I'm telling you, you got guardian angels, and you have a creator that loves you very much. Start leaning on them. Start asking them for help. They're just waiting to ask. They're waiting to help you. I truly, you will just be amazed. That's how I stopped smoking. That's how I quit drinking and quit eating meat. Because it seemed like every time I ordered a steak, I was the last one to get it, and it came back burnt. Now, if that isn't a sign, your angels will help you. But you got to be willing to want to do it. There's one thing you can't do. You can't circumvent your angels. I don't care how deep a hidden truth is, they already know it. Because they know your thoughts before you ever leave your lips. They know what you're going to say before it ever leaves your lips. Because that's consciousness. That's why, I'm always a big Star Wars fan. And that'll be something else coming too. And I'm going to tell you about some places I've been. Yeah, in the stars. So that'll be in a couple upcoming videos. But let's get you guys knowing how special you truly are. And how grander you are. A lot of you came here and you took on some tremendous paths. Because when we were here, we accumulated karma from other lifetimes. But this lifetime is the most important lifetime for everybody. That's right. Have faith in your Creator. Have faith everything's going to be okay. Okay? Reach out to Him. He's there. You're the only one that needs to know. This ascension is an individual ascension. Each person is responsible for himself. I know some of you have kids, but that's why you're there to guide them. You can guide them to the light, or you can guide them into darkness. But I wouldn't recommend that. because karma can be tough. Give those kids the best light they can get. And that's just being loving and giving them hope and courage, and tell them that everything will be okay. And show them how to be strong. But truly, strength comes from this. Opening this heart. That's where your true strength comes from. Because once you know that you're in this body, you're not going to worry so much about diseases or death. But I promise you, if you start eating better, you will start getting better. I choose my own path to eat what I eat, and you must do the same. But I would recommend start bending your heart toward organics. That is when you will see real results. But that's my personal opinion. It's not your guys's, You choose to do what you want. I choose, when I leave here, to have a report card that sparkles. That's what I choose. And that's why on my Panasonic FC300, which I talk about on this channel too, I give you everything that I know. Because there's always going to be more. It doesn't matter. If I told you about all the tricks and everything that I ever did that would help you, that's a sparkle for me when I leave. Because there is 100-fold more knowledge inside of you that you could delve into right now. I have noticed that my words have been growing in perspective. I used to have a hard time spelling words sometimes. Now they just come, and I know how to spell them now. Yeah, it's a great thing. So, if you're wanting and the awakening, your awakening, it has to start here. It has to start in your heart. That's where it starts. If you can't crack that door open here, you'll have a difficult time. And I can promise you that if you're stuck in that mindset, the ego, the materialistic world, pushing power upon others that don't have things, I promise the universe will answer you in kind. Remember, what you send out will always come back. Always remember that. And start telling the truth. Because that is pivotal. When you leave this body and you head back to heaven, there's no lying. You can't lie. Because they already know you're lying. See? So I suggest you work on getting the truth back. Because once you start telling the truth, you never have to look behind you. Ever. You'll always go forward. Never having to worry about what's behind you. That's the one thing that was a miracle for me. 4 or 5 years ago, I swore that I had a huge lesson, and it taught me a magnificent part of a white lie and what the consequences could be from it. That was my cue to start telling the truth. It doesn't matter if they agree with you or not, as long as you're telling the truth. Now, sometimes I can't tell the whole truth to just anybody. That's why I created this channel, was to help you understand that truth is pivotal in your soul's growth. Because you never have to look behind you. Those ones that have been lying, guess what? You haven't seen anything yet. Because the whistleblowers are coming. People are done with the corruption. I can't say I'm done. I send love to the negative ones. You know, I don't care, because they need it. They need love. And love is the key. It's the key to your heart, it's the key to your soul, and it's the key to everything else that you have. So, we're still going. The awakening. I want to talk a little bit about meditation and how I started out and how I struggled through it. That's right. Everybody struggles through meditation because you have to have patience and you have to clear your mind of all the troubles that you're dealing with. Otherwise, it'll just take longer for it to happen. Yeah. So when I had worries on my heart and my mind, I was getting nowhere with meditation. But once I quit smoking, I quit drinking, and then the meditation started getting amazing. I mean, truly amazing. I have been through bird sanctuaries on the other side, beautiful, gorgeous parks. I have met birds that were beyond anything we have here. And I'm going to tell you all about it. It's just, I want you to be aware that the planet is going through an awakening right now. That's why there's so much going on. And the planet's vibration is rising. Now, let's talk about vibration, because most people think of it as a sound vibration or like a speaker cone vibrating really quick. It is, because sound does play a part in this vibration of the planet. But the light plays the bigger part of the vibration. And where your mindset is and what your beliefs are is where your vibration is going to be. If you're fearful and you think the end of the world's coming, then that's going to be your vibration, because there are timelines. Yeah, it's hard to believe, but there are timelines. And depending on where your consciousness is at, if you have the ego and the money brahm, power, well, that's the timeline you're going to be on. If you're stuck in that mind, that's the timeline you're going to be on. When you open the heart, then things begin to change. Things will get better. Your path will become clearer. It'll be easier to walk. Your angels will sweep the boulders out of the way. They'll leave some of the rocks, but they'll sweep the boulders out. And believe me, we all have had boulders in our path. I can't tell you enough about, putting a wall up in front of your Creator, thinking that you're all there is absolutely not true. People that open their hearts and want to change their lives and get onto a better path, it starts with you. It isn't your best friend. It isn't your dad or your mom or your brother. Don't get me wrong. You can take advice. But I say that if you got advice, go out into the woods, into a beautiful place, all by yourself, and take a notebook with you and a pencil. And get out there where there's nobody around you. That is when you're going to make the best soul decision of finding a better path, a brighter path. So go out in those woods and sit down, find a beautiful spot, and pull your phone out and pick 3 things that you want to change in your life. Now, if you have major things, then only pick 1. Because I can tell you, quitting smoking and quitting drinking were 2 tough paths, and I can only do 1 at a time. And it will take some time. I don't know too many people that can do 2 or 3 major things in a year or 2. But I did these. It took me 3 years, 2 or 3 years, to quit drinking and smoking. And it took a lot longer to quit eating meat. But that's my preference. That's all it is. And I smoked for a long time. And now I have a full breath. I don't get sick anymore. Upper respiratory infections. My skin is glowing. I feel better. I jog. I jog slowly. I'm older now. And that's why I get out in nature. Nature is the best thing for any physical therapy. So get out there and just walk in nature. Doesn't matter where it is. Grab a camera, your phone, use that, and get yourself a little software, and you can post it on social media. Telling the truth is what people want. That's what they're looking for. That's what the heart wants. So choose wisely. If you're only going to tell the truth part of the time, why bother to tell the truth at all? You're still throwing, the big sticks behind you that are dragging. There are ways to tell the truth. Maybe not the full truth, but as long as you're aiming in that direction and you're working on telling the truth, things will get better. Things will get more positive. Because you'll start looking for more positive people. When that door swings open, you're not gonna want to deal with them dark people with lower vibration. They will begin to just weigh on your shoulders, and eventually you will have to let them go, because they're just taking your light away from you. Dark people have to have, fear. They got to have conflict. That's what feeds them. See, that's how the negative ones feed. They feed on fear and conflict, wars, anything to suppress humanity. That's what they feed on. And you're now beginning to see just where these dark ones are camping out. But their camps are they're eventually going to go. Right now, they're doing everything in their power to hold the camp, which won't be very much longer. So, this awakening, everybody is going through it. Everybody will have their own awakening. Some's going to be very sharp and harsh. Some will just get a gradual awakening. But time is growing shorter, as you can see. Because there's going to come a time when humanity will shift. And you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be centered in your mind instead of being centered in your heart. Because being centered in your heart, you will come. They call it the new earth. It's actually a golden age is what it is. But it is a new earth. Because as the timeline splits, which it's doing, those people are going to have to make their choice which direction they want to go. If they want to continue the same path, the ego, power over others, then let them be. You can't interfere with another person's path because you can accumulate or karma from them. If you send a person on a path and told them, oh, this is the best thing for you, go ahead and do it, blah, 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 and all of a sudden they get crushed by it, well, you're the one that's going to receive the backlash from it. That is correct. Let their own souls make their own soul decision for them. Give them good guidance. Give them bright guidance. And tell them, if you go down that path, I've been down this dark path, I can tell you. The rabbit hole doesn't end. Well, it will. Because either your heart's going to break or you're going to break. One of the two. I'd rather see your heart. Because once you break, slim chances of, coming back. But God says there's always miracles. And I've had a few. So, try to find the sunnier part of your path with a little more light in it. And before you walk over that bridge to a new path, to a new direction, make sure it's a sturdy bridge. Make sure it's well lit. Strong enough that if you had to turn around and come back, you could. Your awakening is going to be something that you will not be able to explain in moments. But let's get on to this meditation. When I started meditating, and I started, I would lay down. That's how I meditated, because it was the easiest way. But sometimes I fell asleep, so it really didn't help. It's better to try to do it sitting up on a couch or a nice chair. But if you got to lay down, you lay down. And I also found that, how sometimes you go to the airport and they got those little black masks that go over your eyes? That's key. Wear one of them. It helps. What I would see when I was meditating was there were kind of like it was black, but I could see something moving in this darkness. And pretty soon, after a while, I would get glimpses like of a clear picture. Like, wow, did I just see that? And then the next thing you know, you're going to start seeing like a pink or a magenta, a darker magenta in this path. They call it the violet flame, but it's going to be in your meditation. You will see it most of the times. Once you open this, then this can open too. Yeah, so I want to tell you about a time I was driving down this road. It was a backcountry road. I like backcountry roads because they're pretty. They're a lot like the tow road where there's nothing there. And I came down this road, and all of a sudden there was these like crows in the road. And I thought, what are they doing? And when I got closer, I slowed down, but they flew off back to the field. And when I looked to the right, the whole field was full of crows. I mean, like 1,000 crows. And I said, why are all these crows here? And I got this answer that they are watching over you. And I said, why so many? An angel, he's probably a couple fields full of crows. But this is what I was told. And it brought some tears to my eyes. It isn't every day you get to hear why you're being watched over, but I know that all of you, every soul on the planet, has at least one guardian angel. Some of us have more. I have 3. And those of you that are still stuck in the mind and don't believe in your creator, or any creator for that fact, you are equally as loved as the ones that do believe it. Consciousness and beliefs are part of the soul's journey. I know that I have a lot to talk about, but I want to do it in a casual way that you can understand. I'm not going to throw big words at you, because I just want to give it to you like the edge of a feather, soft. Because I want you to start reaching for your heart, for the goodness, for a brighter path. Those dark paths, they will come to an abrupt end. Like hitting a stone wall, or maybe a car hitting a bridge embankment. They will come to an end. And then you'll have to make a choice. That's when change comes. Right now, humanity, they are so mindset. They got chains, log chains around their hearts because they're so stuck in their egos and their power. They can't perceive anything outside of that, or for that fact, inside of them. And unfortunately, it's their path. They chose that path. Like I said, each soul chooses its own path while you're here. So choose wisely. Choose good, and good will come. Find that direction, the one that you've always wanted, and you have it now. Enjoy it. Mine is not about wealth, because I know that wealth is just a materialistic thing. And I know where I'm going. I'm going back to the stars, where I come from. And yes, I even know where I come from. A star system called Sirius. That's right. And I have some beautiful lions out there that are waiting for me to come home. But my mission is to awaken as many as I can before I have to leave. That's my goal. And later on down the road, I have a bigger mission to do, which will involve the whole planet. And a lot of you are going to be part of this mission that's coming for humanity. Get out there. Get out there in the woods. Get out there somewhere where you're all by yourself, so you can talk to you and that heart of yours. And write down what you want to change. Don't do big like 5-6 things at a time, because it just won't happen. Do the things you need to work on first, that you think would benefit you for the next challenge. Do that. I mean, that's what I did. And it worked out great. Ask those angels to help you, because they're there to help you. Oh, yes. Help is their core of their heart. I have a great relationship with my angels. I do talk to them telepathically. I guess that's how you would say it. This is the edge of the spiritual of my world. And you each need to bring yourselves into your own worlds, into your own hearts. And each of you will have different experiences. But if I tell you what I've experienced, it may help you get through your experiences. That's why I'm here, because I want to show you real results of what I experienced. That's why it's so important that when the other half of this channel shows you the Panasonic FZ300, I was directed to get this camera because it's a little workhorse. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle. It's a hybrid. It's a mirrorless camera. And it shoots fabulous pictures once you learn how to tame it. Once you learn what the capabilities of it are, and capabilities that it cannot do. And I will always give you real results of what I have experienced, so that you may not have to go through such a tough time that I had to go through. But time is running out. So make your decision what path you want to head down. Like I said, I've been down that dark path, and it's no fun. There's nothing that's going to induce you beside more material things. But in the end, you're not taking none of that with you. It's just you, buddy. And that's it. So think about that. This will be the end of this chapter, and there will be more to come. It's just a little excerpt into what I'm going to be bringing you in this chapter. Thank you. Please subscribe, share, and like, and have a gorgeous and beautiful day. And thank you for your patience and listening. And I hope that I have given you some hope just how beautiful you truly are and how magnificent you really are. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful day.